Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this video, I'm looking at a new history of the DC Universe, issue 3. Okay, so this is New History of the DC Universe, part 3. So first of all, we have a inclusion of the Watchmen characters, which we kind of know through the last crossover. Well, I've completely forgot what it's called. He's obviously important. We've got Crisis Hall as well, Supergirl Crisis. Now, this is the thing. I'm not really sure why Crisis is in this. Because this is a new timeline. So the idea of Crisis obviously was to bring in the JSA and the JLA together, and if you obviously get rid of some characters, bring some other multiverse stuff in as well, because they're obviously doing all the multiverse stuff in. But we've now got a situation where Crisis effectively resets, like amalgamates the multiverse into the new Earth, or what you want to call it. But some of these characters already exist in the kind of like the new timeline. So the JSA have already been mentioned as to exist in this new world pre-crisis. Power Girl apparently is a uh, parallel universe destroyed by the crisis. She comes from there. But obviously, as of recently, if you want to include like the Earth 2 series we had with the new Jay Garrick and uh the new Superman, I can't remember what his name was. Power Girl was in that, and then they brought her across, and now they've kind of reset it so she's now was in this Earth previously, but now she's a member of the Crisis. Shazam obviously came from the Fawcett stuff. Booster Girl was obviously the same kind of thing. But Power Girl's the anomaly. Where did Power Girl come from? Is she a member of the JSA on her world, and she's the only surviving version of the JSA from her world? Is she from a world where she's the only one? It's really confusing because there's no mention. It's literally that being um, how she, Kara Zor-El. It's Supergirl effectively. So where does she come from? There's no mention of where she comes from. So with that, we get the JLI, which is fair enough. We get Suicide Squad and all this kind of. So we get looking at the kind of like the era. Now, unless I'm mistaken, this is obviously it's a little bit more out of sync as well because the Suicide Squad series definitely came before the JLI series, unless I'm very much mistaken. Um, we get Doom Patrol. We get Nort. We get Starman. We get the Legion 90 book, which I wish, please, 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 DC, do some DC finest with this version of Legion, please, and the Omni-Men or whatever it's called, which is the first appearance of Lobo. Um, the shooting, death of Robin, the time, Rip Hunter, and all that kind of stuff. Wave Rider. So now we get to Target 2001. Death of Superman. Okay, fair enough. Right. So yeah, this is all kind of following nicely. Then we get to obviously Bane. Then we get the milestone event, which brings all the superheroes in. And apparently, according to this, she finds him Icon from the 1800s, and they have a bit of adventure, and then they disappear. So that's why they're not around anymore. Hitman. They do mention that event, but he's literally the only one that's mentioned as a character that kind of continues onwards. Um, we got Impulse, um, obviously Parallax, and a few others as well. Um, Marriage of Superman, Aztec, which is very cool to see. Then we got DC 1 Million, Harley Quinn, JSA again with Hal as the Spectre, which is okay. Again, that kind of follows on as well. Manchester Black, which is interesting as well because obviously that's kind of from Wildstorm, but there's another Wildstorm character in this at this current point in time. Apparently, it might appear in issue 4 though. Supergirl again from the Batman Superman stories, which is okay. That's fair enough, right? That's fine. Then we get Infinite Crisis, Death of Blue Beetle, which again makes no sense because he's back. So why include all this stuff that happened and it has been reset that it doesn't happen? Birth of Superman's son, but that didn't happen then. that's been retconned back to happen so it fits in with Damien. That come from Convergence. So all this is all it's they're kind of like shifting the timeline around for some events and not for other events. We get to see Batman and um, going travel back in time, the new outsiders, all this kind of stuff as well. Um, this is the monitor of the multiverse, which I swear should be New 52, the multiverse stuff. That we get if it's not right now, it's definitely getting that way. So we've got a massive amount of like literally, well, I don't know how many years it is, stacks and stacks of stuff happening in a very very short amount of time from 85 to whatever New 52 was. All slightly out of sequence and all kind of like just saying, well, this kind of happened and this is the outcome. Power Girl being obviously the most important thing. Crisis happened. I died. Power Girl come from a universe, previous universe, but everything else kind of didn't really happen because it didn't need to because it already existed in this universe. And it's just like, well, if you're gonna, you don't need to rewrite Crisis. You didn't have to include Crisis in it because Crisis was part of the reboot. The idea of Crisis was it would set stuff back to what it was previously in a new timeline. You're you're using the past stories in a timeline that it shouldn't really exist, and I don't quite understand it. If anyone's got a better idea about how it kind of fits together, I'll be very happy to hear. But it just seems like you're trying to rewrite history of all this stuff happening, and it doesn't quite work. But there you go. So I know there was a thing in I don't know if there's a thing in Final Crisis or one of the other ones where they travel back in time and stop the crisis happening or something or whatever, which makes it even more confusing. I honestly don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with death metal and all that kind of stuff as we got to get to issue 4. And apparently they did say Wildstorm stuff might appear in issue 4 as well. So whether that's going to happen, I'm not too sure. But it just seems to be, you know, it's less now by issue 3 of me in a timeline of the current DC universe than being a encyclopedia entry for stories that were published by DC previous to it. And that just seems to be the one way of approaching it. At least with Rebirth and stuff like that, we had a New 52. We had like, Superman's been Superman for 5 years, Batman's been Batman for X amount of years, and there were some inconsistencies. But at least it's kind of like we didn't have Crisis here because they didn't exist. We didn't have this happen because they didn't exist, and they kind of did that blank slate, and some of it was ridiculously stupid, and some of it was fine. But here we're trying to amalgamate every single event that's happened, and it doesn't make sense. So there you go. We'll see what happens with issue 4. See if issue 4 makes it even more sensible. We'll see. Anyway, that's pretty much what I can say about this one so far. So I'll stop my rambling for now and hopefully see you on another video very, very soon. Thanks very much. Bye bye.